Warriors Unite! Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Wanted to kind of get one out there before the day started. Hope you guys are on your conquesting yourself. Self-control, my friends. And then controlling everything around you because of that self-control. And obviously it starts with retention. And starts with a lot of other things that we've talked about before. So hope you guys are having a great morning so far. Have a great day coming. Remember, every day is a new day to a great warrior. Let's do some shout outs here first before we get to our great topic. We're going to do one from Leo today. And a quote that he made that I loved what he talked about. JC Enlightened, day 7. Hard times will make you tougher. That's exactly right, my friend. Exactly right. You don't get anything unless you go through some times that you're going to face difficulties, obstacles, be able to overcome those. And that's how you do it as a lion, as someone who is a strong, masculine male who's able to overcome things. So great job, JC. Stunna, avoiding edging. I'm with you, my friend. I think that's the hardest thing to do is as you're doing this, doing things as you're working towards it. I understand people work towards it day by day. Just not releasing is the number one thing to start with. And obviously, no FAP is another thing to it. Don't watch any images. Don't do this. Now, if you're still struggling and you're still doing it, obviously it's better not to release. But the best thing to do is actually the monk mode. And that's just going ahead and taking it totally out of your system. But realizing you have that sexual energy. You're going to get enticed sometime. By seeing something, you're going to see something, you're going to react to it. That's a good sign because you have that energy within you. Now you just have to take that and do Kelder's exercise and transmute that up through your system so you become stronger. Don't let that get to the point, obviously, it's releasing, and you don't want to edge at that point. So that's the key, and I think Stunna makes a good point. Jeremy Gurr, great energy. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. I'm glad you're having great energy as well. Leo, we're going to talk about you in a second, my friend. Military of the 21st century. Western women are a lot different than Eastern women. There's no doubt. And women out of Europe, different types of attitudes, things you have to deal with. But all women, in my experiences, love a masculine, dominant male. Now, you may get... let me take that back. I'll take that back a second. Not all women, of course. Of course, you're going to have women who are going to be upset with you and all that thing. But down deep, most women want a masculine, dominant male. They may not say that, but that's where part of their issues are coming from because they don't have one around or they haven't seen one and for a long, long time. So that's a good point that's important here. Gilyum, thank you, my friend. Gold Z, Tony Pellicci, thank you. Guido, Harold, Soulitaire Record Officials, Antonio again, Johnny 5, LBC 213, Villem, and Color. What exercises? We're talking about the Fountain of Youth. I don't have my book with me, but I will show it to you probably next time so you guys can see it again. I'll try to put a link. Someone asked me about that as well, and we'll do that as well. All right, so at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, let's talk about a Leo quote that quoted something like, let's run like we're lions. Now, he used a profanity there. I'm not going to use profanity, but he runs like we're lions, tigers and bears. Well, Leo, you're exactly right, my friend. Shout out to you, man, on this one. We need to kind of think about this for a second. This is an attitude. This becomes an attitude. We are in this world where we are being brainwashed by the matrix system to believe that we're not strong males. And it used not to be the case. I grew up in the 60s, and I was a kid during the 60s, and obviously a teenager in the 70s. And so as I grew, I realized there was a point in time where this stuff was natural. Men were natural. Not that they didn't release. I'm sure they released all the time, all through the ages. But men had that masculinity, that idea, and it was promoted as strong masculinity. It has changed a lot over the years. And the bigger problem is we have all these movements that came around, and what's happened is that men have become gun shy. And on top of that, you talk about all the movements talking about how bad men are, all these things. And on top of that, you have no fathers in many of these relationships. And so many women are raising their kids by themselves, and great job for these women raising the kids. but they're only going to raise the kids to try to get them, surviving. They're not going to give them advice. They can't give them advice on how to be a man. And that's the whole thing. And that's where the problem is. Then they look for other types of things, and they can't find them on different types of things. And so that's why we have to have people out there as role models to actually kind of talk about what a man is and what masculine energy is. And that's important for this whole discussion we're talking about here. Because what you really want to do is you want to bring up your kids and you want to act as a role model like a lion. Now, let's talk about a lion a second. I love this kind of analogy, and thank you, Leo, for bringing it up. The lion is someone who is not the strongest in the jungle. He's not the biggest in the jungle, right? He may not be the fiercest in the jungle, but he's the most feared. Now, why is that? Well, the lion has a lot of self-control. All you got to do is, I remember that famous picture of the lion sitting there and watching everything, and these young women lion walking around trying to entice him, and they have no effect on him at all. And eventually, by the end of the video, you see they're hanging on to him like crazy because he's not going to pay attention to him. He is more interested and focused on his goals, on his purpose, and that's why a lion is dangerous. A lion will sit and attack when he feels like he has the advantage. Lions are very smart when it comes to that, and when you're looking at the whole thing, you have to become that control lion. But when he attacks, he's fierce. And he has to be fierce. So, the whole key to this whole thing is you have to be a beast, but a controlled beast. So let's talk about that a little bit. What do we mean by controlled beast? Well, we're talking about that high-level energy, that super person energy you have, warriors, to conquest. The reason we talk about conquesting is because you're conquesting other things in your life after you conquest yourself. Once you know who you are, you're in God's purpose. You know that this is your strength. You are a strong masculine male. Your job is to protect, to provide, to create things, to build things. Those are the things in society that we need. Protection, provisions, all those things. Once you understand that, you realize now I have to be that male, that strong male that others expect. There's going to be haters. There's going to be people who are not going to like you. There's going to be people who don't believe in this. Well, don't forget it. Don't bother with them, warriors. Keep moving on. Just like that lion. Just keep moving on. Because you are the strength. And whether these people want to admit it or not, you are strong. But don't let other people take you down. Change your course. Move you in different directions. I don't care how good they look. I don't care how much a friend they are, how much of a relative they are. You realize that this course that you're on is a course chosen by God to you. God has chosen you. You are a chosen one of the 1%. You're the chosen one to realize how important this is. And this is important because we need people to save our world, our country, our communities, and we do that by getting back to what the basic idea of males and females are. And that means that males need to protect. They need to be strong enough physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to be able to know this is direction. You have to be dominant. When the lion becomes dominant, the females are all submissive. But they want his attention so bad, they'll do anything to wait for that submission. The same thing happens with females in any species. Because the females want a strong male to mate with. Now, we're not talking about all the superficial communication that we see out there with people. The bottom line really comes down to that we all have desires and instincts down deep. And so, whether people tell you this or not, a lot of relationships people choose on saying, especially if they want to get married or they want to have any kind of mating situation at all, they look for the person. Who is this person that I'm mating with? Is this a person that's going to have offsprings, and what are they going to look like? The lion looks at it the same way. He is choosing to look at things in purposes. And that's what you have to do. A purpose in life. Whatever you're doing has to follow your purpose. If it doesn't, then move on and do something else. Don't allow other people to make your purpose up. You have your purpose. Be like that lion. Be like that lion. Be that lion who's going to say, okay, this is my jobs. This is what I'm doing. I'm in charge of this jungle. I may not be as strong as some fierces, but I know what I'm doing here. And therefore, I'm not going to let other things distract me. The same with us. The same with you, warriors. You're all guarding. You're all guards in many ways. Warrior guards. Watching the community around you. Watching everything around you. Being strong. And as a result of that, you have to keep an eye on distractions. Keep away from distractions. Like the lion. Now, if you want to, and you want to procreate, or you want to do something, you have a special type of female, that's a whole different thing. But again, remember, your energy is vital. The lion just doesn't waste his energy. He's using his energy as far as his purpose. This is why the lion is talked about in the Bible all the time, along with the eagle. The lion is something that is a strong animal. Mentally, for animals, that lion's strong. They're not swayed by distraction. Their animal instincts are controlled. The lion can control his animal instincts, and so can you. You can learn how to control it. And this is the whole reason we talk about all of this stuff. Self-control, self-discipline. Control yourself to be a controlled beast. When you need to be a beast, you can be a beast. But you're not going to abuse people. You're not going to do things that are unethical. Those things, you don't need to. In fact, you don't even need to sit and look at a person to kind of communicate with them. I'm saying you don't need to talk to the person to even communicate. You can look at them. And you can show your dominance, as we talked about before. Males or females. Dominance is the key. If people know they respect you, they understand, and they fear you. And in some ways, it's good. Just like when we fear the Lord. Other people can fear you because of your respect, because of who you are. They sense your energy. They sense your power. Now, you have to use it with great responsibility, of course. But the key is that you have that power. So the longer you're retaining, you have this power. You have to think about controlling in ways that it's going to be beneficial. So run like the lion, as Leo says. The bears, tigers are fine too, but the lion is the one that I like. Run with the lion. Run like the lion. Be the lion. And you'll be the masculine male that the Lord wants us to be. All right, my friends. Thank you, Leo, for your comments. I appreciate those. Great quote, my friend. And thank you guys for all the shout outs. And I appreciate all the great comments you guys mentioned about my birthday. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm doing this to kind of show you guys some information. Hope you guys can use some of this. Alvin, thank you for that donation again. I appreciate that. And you guys continue having a great day. And continually, we're going to say this in a second, but you know what you got to keep doing. Every day in this world is a continual battle. And we have to continue to keep fighting because two things we know. One, every day is a new day to a great warrior. And number two, don't forget to battle